Dan Campbell said, we're bringing everybody to the West Coast. Right. Why? To get y'all ass beat tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Detroit, that's a pick. Bad throw from Purdy, and it's Kirby Joseph with his 8th interception of the year. Play action from Purdy. This is picked. That's Joseph again. His second of the night.
Uh-oh, Niners! You just got your kneecaps bitten by the Detroit Lions.
Got an unbelievable amount of respect for you guys. I know what this was, and there's all these arguments about what did this game really mean because of next week. I respect the out of you guys. I respect the out of how we roll the ball out and you guys just go out and compete. I can't even put it into words, man. I cannot put it into words. I love the hell out of you guys. I love the hell out of you guys. Listen, we did some things. We got 14 wins. All right, we already talked about once we got to where we were at 13 that we franchise record, 14's a franchise record, 8-0 on the road, franchise record. All right, 8-0 on the road, which tells you at its worst we can go anywhere and win, gentlemen. That's the bottom line. Listen, you can't ask for anything better. To be able to have the division and the 1 seat on the line back at home. Guys, this is what it's all about. This is why you're in this profession, man. This is as good as it gets. We're so thankful for this opportunity. This can be unbelievable. Appreciate you guys, man. It's a hell of a job. It's a hell of a ride, and we got one more. Break it down.
Hey, I can feel it right now, boys. We know what's at stake next week. Big boy game. Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
So even though there was really nothing to play for after what happened on Sunday between the Vikings and the Packers to guarantee what next week will be set up for, you know, there was still a lot to play for even in this game. Even though this game didn't really mean anything in terms of the standings, like this game doesn't affect Detroit in the standings whatsoever. In a way, like there is a scenario where this game could mean something, but if the Lions and Vikings tie next week, which we'll talk about that later this week. But, you know, in terms of standings, it didn't really impact in terms of the 1 seed since next week's game against the Vikings is guaranteed to be winner take all. But even then, though, Detroit, there's still a lot of pride and bragging rights still on the line, you know, especially since this was the rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. Although I think a lot of us would have liked this game to be a lot more different if both teams were more healthy and not both teams injured to fucking hell and back. But even then, despite all that injuries on both teams, you know, this game still produced a very good game. It was a very good shootout. You know, just in the end, Detroit does what good teams do, find a way to win. You know, the first half was not really good, especially since the Lions could not stop the 49ers in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the only time the Lions stopped the Niners in the first half was when Jake Moody whiffed the 58-yard field goal to end the half. But at the same time, the Lions' offense really was firing on all cylinders that entire first half. Like, the only time the 49ers defense stopped the Lions in the first half was when the Lions failed in that 4th down conversion on 4th and goal. But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what happened for the 4th down thing because this game really didn't mean nothing. Like, Dan Campbell treated this game as a test and tune-up session for next week in the playoffs. So, So I mean, when the game doesn't really mean too much, it's like a free get out of jail free card. But yeah, the second half though, the Lions came firing out on all cylinders. You know, got a field goal to start it off. I mean, Detroit kind of got themselves in a hole early on. You know, especially getting the touchdown and 2-point conversion because Jake Bates had an extra point block. Which that first extra point block, that really wasn't on him. That was just a block. I'm not sure what the hell happened there. You know, just sometimes shit happens. But then got the field goal to bounce back with the 57-yarder. And then right after that 57-yarder, which made it 28-24 San Francisco, because San Fran dominated the entire first half in the high-scoring shootout. But once it became 28-21, once San Fran got that touchdown, that became the turning point. Because after San Fran scored a touchdown to make it 28-21 early in the second half, Detroit would then go on a run and would score 19 unanswered points right after that. Mainly with the field goal. And then once the Niners got the ball back, Kirby Joseph. Well, Kirby after that had 2 interceptions in one possession, but only one of them counted. Because one of the interceptions got called back because of Brian Branch's stupidity, body checking George Kittle on a pass for to give defensive pass interference. When that ball was nowhere near Kittle, like even if he didn't body check Kittle, that wouldn't have gone to him. He would have, like, Purdy was overthrowing Kittle on that play. Like, just Brian Branch, as good as he is, he just needs to be more disciplined. Like Branch just takes a bunch of stupid, undisciplined penalties. But hey, at least Kirby Joseph redeemed him with the interception the following play. So yeah, Kirby Joseph, of course, living #1 in Viking fans' hearts. And Kirby Joseph set the Lions franchise record for most interceptions in the first 3 seasons of his career since the NFL-AFL merger. And then of course Detroit, like that first interception from Kirby Joseph was the turning point. Because the big talk was what defense can make a stop first. And the Lions defense was able to make that first big stop, get that first big play. Because throughout the entire start of this game, like, nobody could make a stop on defense. Like, hell, throughout this entire game, not both teams didn't even punt the ball one time in this entire game. Like, the only special teamers that got really any actions were kick returners and the kickers themselves. And of course, Jake Moody missed another field goal later on in the fourth quarter, along with an extra point later on in garbage time. And of course, Detroit capitalized on that first interception, getting 7 points on the board with Amon-Ra St. Brown getting in the end zone on a 4th and goal situation. At least that 4th and goal, they actually had player execution on that one there. But mainly everything Detroit needed to do, they did, you know. Ran the ball, they never abandoned the run like they did in the NFC Championship game last year. And they were able to win the turnover battle. And of course, the 2 interceptions from Kirby Joseph were the big difference in this game. Because those 2 interceptions led to 14 points. So yeah, those 2 interceptions in a shootout game were the deciding factor in this game. That and Jake Moody also missing 2 field goals helped too. As yeah, Jake Moody missed another field goal after Detroit went up 31-28. And then Detroit got another interception. And then Detroit had another field goal. And then Detroit got another interception from Kirby Joseph. And this was like about a play or two after Brian Branch took another stupid unnecessary roughness penalty after Juwan Jennings put his hand in Brian Branch's face and then Branch shoved Jennings down to the ground while he was already down. It's like, you can't do that, Branch. It's like say whatever you want about him putting his hand in his face, but you can't retaliate in that situation. The refs will always get the retaliator. They never get the instigator. But then Kirby Joseph once again stepped up to the plate literally a play later and got an interception to bail out Brian Branch's undisciplined ass. Like I said, Brian Branch, as good as he is, he needs to be better disciplined. Like, you can't not be making stupid penalties like that. Yeah, especially when we had that little brawl in the first half with Juwan Jennings and Perry and Arnold in the end zone. Which it would have been a penalty on the Niners if Kirby Joseph didn't shove Juwan Jennings right to the front row. So yeah. Like honestly, in those situations, if the Niners are going to try starting shit, just walk away. Just walk away. Let the Niners take a penalty for unnecessary roughness and objectionable conduct. Like, literally, when the Niners are trying to start shit like that, they're literally handing you 15 free yards on a silver platter. And both Branch and Kirby and Brian Branch literally looked at that. And Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph in those two situations, they took those 15 free yards and flushed them down the toilet. But hey, at least Kirby Joseph got 2 interceptions, so at least that cancels that out. At least there. And then, of course, the Lions added the and now, of course, the second interception with the Jahmyr Gibbs 30-yard rushing touchdown that put the game out of reach. Like, effectively, once Detroit got the touchdown to go up 31-28, that effectively was the game winner. And then the touchdown from Jahmyr Gibbs was the insurance policy with 3 minutes left. And then it's very unfortunate with what happened with Brock Purdy in the final 2 minutes. When Purdy got sacked, and then O'Connor's face mask ended up right on Purdy's elbow. Which, that sucked for Purdy. Purdy was having a really good game, too, outside of those 2 interceptions Kirby Joseph. Yeah, Brock Purdy, that's just unfortunate for him. Like, I didn't even know Purdy got injured because I saw him on the side. I was like, what in the hell? Because I had no idea O'Connor fucking face mask hit Purdy's elbow. Because I was like, how hard did Brian Branch hit his ass? Until they showed the replay and showed O'Connor's face mask hitting Purdy's elbow. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, well, that explains everything, which led to Josh Dobbs coming in to end the half. Also, to end the game. Also, remember last year when the Viking fans were pumping their treads because they won a couple of games with Josh Dobbs last year? Only to find out he was a fad? Yeah, those were some interesting times. And of course, they would get a touchdown with about 43 seconds left to cut it to 40-34. And then Jake Moody would miss the extra point. Also on the Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown run, Jake Bates would miss another extra point. This one, he just whipped it to the left. Which honestly, at that point, who really cared if Jake Bates missed the extra point? It didn't come back to haunt the Lions in the end. But yeah, even though the Niners fought hard to the end and got that touchdown with 43 seconds left, did that touchdown help the Niners come back and win? Absolutely not. As then after that, Moody had the worst onside kick attempt I've ever seen, as he literally kicked the ball right out of bounds. Which was a penalty, which it gave the ball to the Lions, the ball at the midfield, and the Lions were able to just kneel the ball out and kneel the ball a couple times to run the clock out to reach the final score of 40-34. And the Lions get their revenge for what happened in the NFC Championship game. Like I said, the Niners didn't beat the Lions in that championship game last year. The Lions beat themselves. And this game, the Lions get their payback, as this time, the Lions didn't beat themselves. As they were able to do what they needed to do, they pretty much did everything they didn't do in that NFC title game a year ago. Got the win. Even though this game meant nothing, it's big bragging rights on the line. And it's a lot of pride, and also getting payback for last year. Also funny, the humble Fred Warner, too, after Fred Warner talked all that shit in his pregame speech. Like, it's very obvious that Fred Warner wants to be Penei Sewell so fucking bad. Yeah, all that talk just to lose like that in the shootout. Like, honestly, shout out to the Niners, though. They played an outstanding game. Like, honestly, the Niners are a lot fucking better than that record. Like, don't get fooled by that record. The Niners are a lot fucking better team than that. Like the Niners, they're as equally as banged up as the Lions are. The difference between Detroit and San Francisco is that Detroit is built to handle that kind of adversity, as it's very evident with a record of 14-2. While the Niners are not built to handle that adversity. Like, literally, this season for the Niners is just a rerun of 2020, when the Niners got injured to hell and back and fell apart. And if anyone's wondering, no, Shanahan is not being fired by the Niners, because as before I started recording this video, it's already been confirmed that the Niners are bringing Shanahan and John Lynch back for another season with the Niners, so they'll be back next year for the Niners. Which, honestly, good. Good. Kyle Shanahan was never the problem in San Francisco anyway. It's just pretty bad luck for the Niners this year. The Niners need to learn how to handle. Niners can maybe take notes from the Lions on how to handle the injury adversity. Because Detroit's been dealing with injury adversity all season. And even despite that, it hasn't mattered. Like, this game was honestly playing out like that Buffalo game a couple weeks ago. The difference is Detroit didn't get off to a slow start, and Detroit was able to get was able to win the turnover battle to get a free possession, to get a couple possessions, which turned the game on its side. So yeah, both interceptions led to 13 points on the board, and that ended up being the difference. So yeah, honestly, Niners are a lot better team. Let's be honest here. If the Niners weren't as injured as all hell and back, if they weren't as banged up as they are right now, Niners would be right there with us, Minnesota, and Philadelphia for the race for the number 1 seed. So let's just get that out of the way real quick. Like, let's be honest. Everyone wants to hype up the Rams so much because of how hot they've gone late in the year. Let's be honest. The Rams division win is a damn fluke. Rams only got the division this year because the Niners were so fucking banged up all year. They dug themselves into a hole they couldn't dig out of. Like, if the Niners weren't as banged up as they are, the Niners would have won the NFC West easily. Let's just get that straight right now. And the sooner you all recognize that, the better. But yeah, honestly, the Niners, they're a really good team still. They've just had some pretty bad luck this year. After falling short in the Super Bowl last year. But the one negative I'll say to the Niners is fuck you for giving Mahomes 2 goddamn rings. But yeah, just, got the win. But of course, the main thing out of this game is nobody got injured in the game. The Lions got out of Santa Clara healthy. And the Lions finally get their first win in San Francisco since 1975. And their first win against the Niners since 2015. As the Lions finally beat the Niners, they finally conquered that demon in San Francisco and complete the revenge tour. And also the Lions, for the first time in franchise history, go undefeated on the road in the season. Going 8-0, a perfect 8-0 on the road, which that's very hard to do in this league. Like, only the 3rd time in the last 10 years that a team has gone undefeated on the road in the season. The last 2 teams to accomplish this feat were the 2016 New England Patriots and the 2020 Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams went on to the Super Bowl that season. The only one of those 2 to win the Super Bowl was the Patriots in 2016, because that was the year of 28-3. And if anyone's wondering anyone wondering about the Chiefs in 2020, that was the year they lost to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. So yeah. But yeah, Lions get the win, and they get the big prize, but of course we know the job's not done yet, and now we got a big game next week against Minnesota for the belt and for all the marbles next week. And which, hey, 8-0 on the road is pretty good, especially with how hard it is to win in this league. Especially winning on the road is hard to play hard. And we all know that in all sports that winning on the road is very crucial if you want to win the championship at the end of the year. And be standing at the head of the table when it's all said and done. But yeah, Lions get the win on the road. We finally get a revenge on San Francisco, complete the revenge tour. And now only 1 game remaining. Lions need to win 1 more game to get that 1 seed for the first time in franchise history. As, of course, also with the Lions winning, they also sweep the NFC West. So now that's 2 divisions Detroit has swept this year. 2 divisions down, 1 to go. You're next, Minnesota. See you Sunday night. Go Lions.
Let me tell you something. I love this team now. I got goosebumps, gentlemen. I love this team.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Detroit, let's work. Hey. Takes a little bit more. Oh yeah. Takes a little bit more. Yeah. It takes more to be one pride, a little bit more to be Detroit. It takes more to be this live, a little bit more to make this noise. One pride, more fight, more heart, more grit. One pride, more fight, more heart, more. Still rep the city and we still gritty like we did it before. Still defend the den, except this time we brought a little bit more. We ain't kicked off, it sound like we score. Turn it up, that's what kickoff is for. When you talking about one pride, we don't get loud, we deliver the roar. Tell them boys when the coin flip, we gon' come with it, don't fumble it. The pressure's high and the fresh jerseys with block numbers gon' double it. Hey, it's one pride and the Lions did what they up against. This Detroit, if it's smoke, we ain't never ducking it, let's kick it off. It takes more to be one pride, a little bit more to be Detroit. It takes more to be